my friends, and welcome to the Balanced Bodywork Business channel. So excited to have you here. So let's get super real for a second, okay? Most massage therapists feel super awkward. I'm just going to take off my glasses for these videos about asking clients to rebook, right? Maybe you think it sounds like super salesy. Maybe you've been ghosted before, or maybe you just hope they're gonna do what they say they're gonna do, which is to come back when they're ready, right? But here's the truth, and I feel like somewhere in you, you know this already. Rebooking is not pushy. It's one of the most client-centered, professional, and compassionate things you can do, right? So, in case you're new around these parts, I am so grateful that you are here. My name is Erin. I am a massage therapist turned mentor. So, for 14 years, I built and ran a multiple six-figure massage practice, and now I help other therapists go from burnout to balanced, from stressed to sustainable, and from hustling to having fun. So, this channel is where you're going to find simple strategies, smart systems, and mindset shifts to help you get more clients, make more money, and build a business that actually supports your lifestyle instead of the other way around. Let's get on into it. So, why rebooking isn't a salesy gross push, right? We need to reframe some of this mindset stuff first and foremost. So ultimately, rebooking is more about client outcomes. This is about them, their pain relief, their stress management, and their long-term wellness, which is why you're in this as well, right? Not rebooking your people is leaving them in the same cycle of pain, and it's doing them a massive disservice. You know, and you probably educate your clients about the consistency of care and how important that is for them to get results, right? So you don't want to leave them hanging and to expect them to take charge of their own health and their own wellness if they have put their trust in you as the professional to guide them in that respect. It does them a massive disservice. It's not even really fair to them. So, an example line you could use is like, imagine going to the dentist and them saying, like, see you whenever, right? That just is not going to serve you. It's not going to serve you. So, you are the health professional, okay? It's your role to guide and to not leave it up to chance. When you don't encourage and guide a client to rebook, clients assume it's not important. You are the leader here. You are the professional. You are the person that has the authority in this situation. You need to guide them in the direction that you know is going to help them the most. So people are actually going to feel safer when you lead in this way. They want to know what's best for them, which is why they came to you in the first place. So it's time for you to step up and to really own that role as a leader. And not only are your clients going to continue coming back, they're going to trust you more. You're going to be earning more money. They're going to be sending you more referrals. Okay. So a lot of therapists I talk to hold back from rebooking or they kind of stall out during the process because they have a fear of being really salesy. They've got a scarcity mindset, like, what if they say no and then they won't come back at all, right? Maybe there's an old identity involved here as like the fixer or the guide, right? Or maybe there's a bit of guilt around their money. So let's work on these reframes because we know that so much of our success starts here, right? Why don't we do a little bit of reframing here? So, this is less about money and it's more about the service and it's more about what you're really, really offering your clients. And your clients know isn't about you, it's about their priorities right now. So, when you really start to be able to explain and educate why it is in their best interests to reschedule at a recommended time frame and you educate them in that direction, then it starts to become a priority. Okay. And another reframe is that rebooking is an offer. It's not a demand. So nobody's going to be, holding them down and demanding that they reschedule. What you're doing is really offering them the opportunity to step into this space of owning their own health and wellness as well, with you by their side. And that's why you have done this in the first place. That's why you have become a massage therapist, I hope, is so you can really step into this role and genuinely, authentically help people in the best way that you know how. So instead of saying things like, do you want to rebook? This drives me banana sandwich. I wish I never had to hear this phrase again when I go in for any service. Any service, it doesn't matter what it is. Do not say this. Do you want to rebook? Everybody wants to rebook unless it was miserably awful, and we know it wasn't. So instead of saying something like that, say, to keep your progress going, I recommend another session in X weeks. Does this same day or time usually work for you? So you're making this about their progress, not your calendar or your budget or you at all. You are just facilitating their healing on a schedule that you know is going to be most effective for them. This is you owning your leadership, and you are stepping up into this space of being able to say, hey, I know from what you've told me, from my experience, from my expertise, and from what we've been working on so far, that this is going to be the best option for you, right? So, owning that is really going to make everything so much easier. And standing in that role of leader and guide is going to make so much of this process just feel more natural and more authentic. So, you can also tell your clients, making this more about clear treatment plans as well. So, you can tell them, based on what's going on in your shoulder, I'd like to see you every week for the next 3 weeks and then reassess. This is something that I use all the time because I run a pain relief clinic. And this is what I use all the time because I guarantee that people will be put on a treatment plan or they'll be put on a protocol. And this makes sure that their expectations are managed, that this is a process. But it also lets them know that we are going to be making adjustments. We are going to be creating something that's cohesive, and there's actually steps in this process. So we are making sure that progress is being made on a really consistent basis. This helps them feel like they can trust you, they can trust you so much more. And even if you're in a stress relief space or you're in a spa, this is something that you can start to create as well because everybody wants results. Everybody wants to feel better for longer. Everybody. That's why we do everything we do. So making it all about them in that context can be incredibly powerful as well. Another thing I like to say is based on what you're showing, what works best for most people is to come in once a week until you are not experiencing those symptoms for that full week. That's when we know that this cycle has been thoroughly interrupted, and then we can start spreading treatments out. And I always joke with my clients and I say, especially my new ones, I'll say, you seem delightful, you are wonderful, and I know we're going to get along wonderfully, but I don't want to see you for the same stuff every time. I just don't. What I want is for you to feel empowered and to know that you are in the right hands for some sustainable relief. So, all that being said, based off of your condition and where you're at, what normally works for most people in this situation is to schedule once a week and then we reassess, right? Just like that. Clients respect a plan, right? They don't feel like they're guessing. They don't want to come to you and then have to answer a whole bunch of questions or make the decisions about a treatment plan themselves. That is unfair, it's unprofessional, and in my opinion, it's unethical. You are the person they came to, you are the person they trust with their health and their well being. Step up. Okay. So, if people hesitate, which they so often do, people are people and out there, and some people are unsure, and some people legitimately have a really big and chaotic life, which is totally fine. So, if these clients hesitate, you can just say, "Hey, that's totally fine. Let's pencil you in for this date." And then at least you have a backup appointment. If we have to cancel it as the time gets closer, just be sure to give me 24 hours or more of notice and we can readjust the appointment. Okay. But at least this way, you have something in the books already, right? And this is a very powerful way to create a soft landing for them where they know that you still have their best interests at heart and you're not pressuring them to do something that they don't feel comfortable doing right away. right? So I always recommend to all of my coaching clients, all my wonderful massage therapists, please always have something in the books. Always, even if it's just a phone call or a text message. I do this for even my most steadfast, most consistent clients who maybe have fallen off the schedule in the middle of summer or something, right? God forbid. So I will always make sure to have a check-in appointment in my own personal schedule for them. Text Samantha about an appointment coming up in the next 2 weeks. And this is a very good way to make sure that there's that cohesion, you have that consistent communication, and they automatically know that you have their best interests in heart and you are not going to be pushing them into something that's uncomfortable. Okay. So you can also offer some choices for these people instead of a yes, no, right? Which is why that question, do you want to reschedule, drives me crazy. The yes, no, everybody wants to reschedule. Of course, they want to come back. Instead of doing that, ask, do you prefer weekdays after work or weekend mornings? Right? You tell me. This helps these people to feel in control, but still guided. Okay. So, we also want to normalize rebooking as part of your culture in your business. So, you're going to be training your clients from the beginning. I always recommend we plan ahead so you don't lose your spot and we can continue making progress in the right direction. You can always lean on past experiences with other clients and say, hey, based off of what I've experienced with clients who have frozen shoulder, this is the best way to move forward. And this is how we work. Make sure that rebooking and consistency and cohesion through your treatment plans or your protocols, no matter your niche, are baked into your philosophy. Okay. You're going to be making this your standard practice and not just a one off. Okay. So, we also want to use systems. So, if you're new to this channel and you're new to my world, you probably haven't heard me talk a lot about systems, but systems are absolute medicine and I talk about them forever. Okay. So, we want to, in this context, we want to set up automatic reminders, memberships, or packages that naturally encourage future sessions. For example, most clients find a monthly membership keeps them consistent and saves them money. Do you want to set one of those up today? Right? So, what happens when you start to reframe your rebooking? When you start to think of it a little bit differently, you're going to have more consistent income, first and foremost. You're also going to have better results with your clients and better testimonials. You're going to have less stress about where the next client is coming from, right? Because you've got this consistent, educated flow of people who are ready to rebook and sign back into your sessions. And lastly, you'll have a business that feels super stable instead of like a roller coaster. This is a really powerful way for you to start creating consistency in your practice and to start getting off of the feast or famine cycle, right? So the next time you feel awkward about rebooking, please remember this is not about sales per se. It's about care, it's about professionalism and helping your clients get real results. So, if you want more strategies like this on marketing, messaging, business growth, come hang out with me in the Balanced Biz program or grab a free Peace and Profits call where we can map out your biggest opportunities. The link is going to be below. So, now go and practice rebooking with your next client. I promise it gets easier every single time. See you in the next one.